Hi everyone, Mr. H here. This is part 2 of chapter 1.6 Growth and Evolution. In our previous video, we explained the concept of economies and diseconomies of scale, and we also presented which specific factors would lead us to either economies or diseconomies depending on how efficient we apply them in our business. We also presented the benefits of being either a big or a small business. Now we're going to explain the different methods of growth, and we will also discuss a little bit about globalization and multinational companies. So let's get started. The following chart will show you the different growth methods, their benefits, and their limitations. So let's take a quick look at each of them. First, we have internal growth. Internal or organic growth is basically growing on your own, is increasing the scale of operations and sales with your own resources, with your own means, is either by increasing sales or a marketing campaign or investments. You decide to grow on your own without any external intervention. So there are three benefits. There's better control. It's your choice. You make the decisions. It is relatively inexpensive because you have full control of the finance, so you decide how to invest it more wisely. And one great benefit is that you can keep the corporate culture because no other business is getting into your business to influence it. You can actually keep your corporate culture as you grow on your own. However, there are some limitations. Since you are on your own, if you are not properly organizing that growth, if growth is not properly planned or balanced, you can end up in diseconomies of scale. Restructuring the business as it grows can lead to conflicts. I mean, you might have to restructure the business, change some areas, or reorganize the personnel, and that might lead to some conflict. And if you are growing, especially if you're growing in size by opening new shops or building bigger, there might be some delusion of the control of your business as you grow. So these might be some risks from internal growth. External growth can happen in four possible ways. Okay, one first method is strategic alliances. This is when two or more businesses decide to share their costs, their risk, the control, and the profit for a business project. Okay, for example, like the airlines 5 or more airlines join up together to provide specific benefits to their customers, like adding up miles for benefits or flights. They are into a strategic alliance. They are all agreeing together to provide these specific benefits. So they are joining up together, but there's no new legal entity. There is just a business project, just an agreement between these businesses. This also means that every single business remains independent. Benefits from this? Well, economies of scale. You can reduce costs and become more efficiency, especially because each business is learning from the other. There is a transfer of skills and expertise. They are learning from each other. There are greater sales, and because they are not legally bound. This is just a business agreement. There is some flexibility from the members. They can actually leave the strategic alliance if they want. If they don't see any profit from it, they can leave it, and that's fine. Okay, there's some flexibility there. However, since there are two or more businesses, especially when they are more, there might be some difficulties in coordination and agreeing on what to do or how to do it. Since they are not legally bound, there's a great chance of low stability because if more and more members of the strategic alliance decide to leave the group, this might end up affecting the alliance and all the benefits that we're supposed to receive. So, well, there are some limitations or risks. Joint ventures are for two businesses. These are two businesses that, again, like the strategic alliances, share costs, control, risk, and profit for a business project. But this business project becomes a new legal entity. So these are two parent companies that create a new third company or business It can be a temporary business, but it's still a new legal entity while staying independent. So still there's independence from the new entity, but there's a new legal entity here in comparison to or in contrast uh, to strategic alliances. Benefits are very similar. The only one that I would add is that they are legally bound. So there's more safety of the stability of this business project because there's a legal entity created. So there are some responsibilities being held by each of the members of the joint venture. And then big disagreements might lead to some loss. These are some of the risks. Might lead to great losses, especially financial loss from a great disagreement if something wrong really happens from the joint venture. And another risk is that there could be dominance from one company over the other company in the joint venture that might lead later to an acquisition, which is one business buying the other. So that's another risk that might happen when there's dominance from one over the other. Then we have mergers and acquisitions. This actually means that this is actually the integration of two businesses into one. So this is two businesses becoming another business, becoming one. Okay, there are two possibilities: the merger, which is becoming a new company. Okay, the two join up and become one, or the acquisition, which is one company buying, taking the control, buying most of the shares, the majority of the shares from the other company. So taking control of the other, buying the other company. Benefits from this, again, economies of scale is a benefit like in the others. There is there's complementarity because usually these two businesses complement each other. Okay, they either grow in the same business sector or start joining up business sectors. There is some diversification as a benefit because there are more products, the product mix grows, the services, there are more services to provide, there is a greater market share, and there are greater chances for survival if you are a small business being acquired by a bigger one or merging with another. So there are greater chances for survival. However, these mergers and acquisitions, besides paying for the acquisition, there are some additional costs to pay, so this can become costly, especially for legal and consulting fees for the acquisition of the merger. There is a great chance of losing control, especially if you are the one being acquired or the one merging and losing control. There will be a chance for culture clashes, especially if the business styles or the cultures of these two businesses are different. And then joining up these two personnel might lead to conflicts and culture clash. And some of these members of these businesses might be sent home, redundancies, because their positions will not be available or required anymore, so they will be sent home. So this also is a risk that would happen from a merger or acquisition. Finally, we have franchises. Franchises is a license to do business using the name, concept, and product of another business, which is basically when one business buys the rights from another bigger business to act in their name and to sell in their name, following their rules and paying them a license fee or a royalty every month or in a period. So there are two members in this franchise: the franchisor, the one that provides the license, and the franchisee, the one that gets the license, okay, and acts in their name. There are these benefits. I mean, there's a chance for market growth. Obviously, because your franchises will open shops in other places. There is a chance for growth financially without running costs because they are the ones paying for the shops and paying for the running of those shops. So you're just sitting down there and getting the royalties from it. And there are greater sales, of course. Franchises on their side, they have a lower risk of failure because they are getting the name of a well-known business. And the setup cost will be also less because the franchisor would provide most of what is needed to open the shop. There is also a secure secure chance of getting supplies from the franchisor. They will provide you with a lot of things, and you will also get support from the franchisor, which is also a great benefit. However, there are some limitations. I mean, the franchisor might lose some control there's a risk of losing control, and your image is at stake all the time, because if some of these other franchises fails, they can affect the image of your business. Franchises also have some limitations. For example, they have unlimited liability, which means that if something goes wrong, they have to respond legally and financially for whatever happens. They have to pay royalties as additional cost they have to consider, because they have to pay royalties to the franchisor. And because they have to follow all the rules of the franchisor, there will be less flexibility in terms of making choices on what to do in your business. So these are the 5 methods of growth explained in a very summarized chart for you all. Now, let's talk about globalization. We can understand globalization in different ways, but in terms of business, we can say that globalization is the integration of regional economies. All these economies in every country or region are joining up together, are connecting to each other, and becoming one big worldwide economy. What is good about this? Well, there is more competition. Well, this can be taken as good or wrong. In the local market, there will be other bigger businesses getting into your local market. There is more brand awareness because these worldwide brands are very well known and they are all over the world. However, local businesses can benefit from skills transfer from the international ones, and international ones can learn from the local ones too. So there's a great chance of skills transfer and also of collaboration, of joining up forces through external growth methods, the one that I just explained. Multinational companies have a number of benefits and reasons for them to, there are many reasons to become multinational. And we can take a look at these reasons. For example, there is improved communications at lower costs now that we are all globalized. Also, there are trading blocks and agreements that would reduce costs, reduce taxes, and allow you to enter other countries and sell. This is a great benefit for multinational companies. And finally, there is an also increased economic and political power. Multinational companies can exert a great influence in national economies, in regional economies, and that's important to consider. So this is why multinational companies are so important. This is why becoming multinational also is a good opportunity to take. Multinational companies have an impact on the host country, on the countries they are. They can be positive impacts, like for example, they can impact positively by providing economic growth. They are bringing new ideas to the country, so there's a greater chance for innovation. Again, there's skills transfer, as you mentioned before. There will be a wider variety of products. There's a great diversity of products in the market because of multinational companies. And they can also provide and support with infrastructure. They might build roads and buildings and schools and other benefits that would end up turning into benefits for the host country. On the other hand, also, they can cause some damage too. For example, or there might be some negative sides to multinational companies. For example, even though they come and work in our country, the repatriation of the profit means that all the profit that is that the multinational company is getting would go back to their home country and will not stay in the host country. Cultural identity might also be influenced and affected by the multinational company and their culture. There will be some talent loss because some of the people who are very well trained in the host country would like to work at these multinational companies and would eventually leave the country. There will be also loss of market share because, yes, these multinational companies that are famous and well known would take control of a great deal of the market in specific business sectors. And if they are staying short, that would mean that they will be there, bring all the benefits just for a while and then leave, which is also a limitation to consider. So host countries can be positively and negatively impacted by multinational companies. This is all what I have to say about globalization and multinational companies and the methods of growth. And this is it for the second part of chapter 1.6. Bye bye.